Guess what? It's time to take a look at the entertainment report and Michael Snyder's Culture Blast as we go out to the left coast of America and see what's happening. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Alex. I'm out here on the edge, so to speak. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Well, we got a big, we got the dog's breakfast of films to review, so shall we get to it?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's start with Keanu, which, despite the title, is not the long-awaited film biography of mumbling actor Keanu Reeves. No. Although he does figure in this in a way, but I don't want to spoil anything. Anyway, it's the first feature film to star TV sketch comics Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele, coming out in the wake of their very funny TV sketch comedy show ending. And this is, funny at times. They play a couple of friends. I guess Key is the straight-laced one, and Peele is the loser stoner. And they are in search of the Peele character's missing cat. Now, he's had a miserable time of it. He's stoned out of his mind. He's lost his girlfriend, and a beautiful little kitty shows up at his door. And they hit it off to the point where he becomes obsessed with the cat. And then when they're out, there's a home invasion. When the Key and Peele characters are out, there's a home invasion, and the cat disappears. And this sends them into a search for Kitty, and that's where the fun begins, as they have to pose as hard-ass drug dealers, despite being wimps, and infiltrate a very violent gang. The leader of the gang is played by Method Man. The Key character's wife is played by Nia Long. Will Forte is the idiot drug dealer next door. He just sells pot, and he's just a brain-blasted moron. You get Luis Guzman in this thing, and a couple of surprise cameos that actually pay off. And the kitten is incredibly cute. Okay, the movie has funny moments, but at times it's so ridiculous and over the top that it strains its own kind of sloppily conceived reality. They had to pad out a full-length feature film. They'd been doing these short sketches, and still the result is it's just not as lean and mean and effective as their short-form sketch work on TV. Nonetheless, it does have some laughs. These guys are funny. It's just sometimes ridiculous doesn't work. Anyway, it is considerably better than Mother's Day, which is the latest ensemble comedy from director Gary Marshall, a Pretty Woman and Valentine's Day fame. And it's basically a story about moms and 3 generations of moms and how they interact. And I'm sure everybody meant well. They intended to create a feel-good frolic for a populist audience. But this is so shoddy and heavy-handed, never funny. Jokes fall flat. The sentiment is not earned. It's very cheap. And yet you've got these good performers trying to breathe life into cliched characters, and who cares? One-time Pretty Woman Julia Roberts plays a cold, isolated Martha Stewart type, an author and shopping network star who, as a teenager, gave up a child she had out of wedlock. That's why she's so cold, I guess. Anyway, the Pretty Woman co-star, Hector Elizondo, who Marshall probably thinks of as a lucky rabbit's foot or something because he keeps showing up in Gary Marshall's films. He plays the Roberts character's agent. We get Jennifer Aniston as a divorced single mom with 2 kids and an obnoxious ex who's played by Timothy Olyphant. Jason Sudeikis is a hapless widower with 2 daughters. All right, she's got 2 sons. He's got 2 daughters. Hey, I see where this is going. Anyway, Kate Hudson is in this thing as a woman afraid to tell her bigoted parents that she's married to Aziz Ansari, who is, of course, not American in ethnicity here, not a white guy, and they have a kid, even worse. And you get Sarah Chalk's her sister, a lesbian who's equally afraid to tell these hicks that her partner is a woman. The only thing I really liked about this film, other than the earnest way these actors approach the roles, Britt Robertson from Tomorrowland is sort of cute. She plays a young unmarried mom reluctant to tie the knot with this bartender and would-be comedian who's the father of her adorable baby. This thing gets 5 shudders on the Snyder cringe-o-meter. Man, this is why I go to the movies so you don't, because you wouldn't want to see this thing. The Man Who Knew Infinity finally turns the tide here and gives us a good movie. It's the true story of a friendship that forever changed mathematics. It's about a self-taught Indian mathematics genius who goes to Cambridge in 1913 and creates a genuine bond with his mentor, who's this brilliant, eccentric professor. But the prejudice of the day gets in the way. And we have Dev Patel, who you may remember from Slumdog Millionaire. I know you remember him from that. And of course, he's been in a number of things, including HBO's The Newsroom, and he's fantastic in this thing. Better than his work in Marigold Hotel, which is an ensemble thing. It kind of focuses on his character, and he's earnest and decent and soulful as the self-taught Ramanujan, who bravely leaves his native Madras and his devoted, naive young wife and travels to England and Trinity College at Cambridge when his theories get the attention of a crusty, single-minded math professor, G.H. Hardy, who's played by Jeremy Irons. Of course, the stiff and tradition-bound and bigoted Cambridge intelligentsia sneer at Ramanujan and the collaboration. The actual students are like actually physically violent to him. And it could have been another like boilerplate period biopic, and it succumbs to some formula, but it transcends all of that to become a very moving experience. It's acted to a T. It's elegantly mounted. We expect solid work from Irons and fellow Brits in the cast, Toby Jones and Stephen Fry, but Patel really brings it. He handles the comedic, romantic, and tragic elements of the story with equal aptitude. I liked his work as part of those other things, but this is his most impressive showcase probably since Slumdog Millionaire. I give it the major thumbs up, and kudos to writer-director Matt Brown, who definitely did a great job with this. Maybe the most fun I had of all the films we're going to talk about today was at The Family Fang. I don't know if you saw Bad Words, which was directed by and starring Jason Bateman. It's all about spelling bees and an old, like, kind of veteran spelling bee expert who finds himself, battling the kids and coaching up a young kid to compete in one of these things. It was a wonderful film and very funny. And Bateman's got some skills. And his latest effort, The Family Fang, I think is a revelation. It manages to deliver like rueful comedy, interpersonal drama, and even a little mystery, and often at the same time. Essentially, it's about two adult siblings, Baxter and Annie, played by Bateman and Nicole Kidman, one of her best roles in, I don't know, years. And they have been ruined by their upbringing because their parents were obnoxious performance artists who incorporated the kids in all of these elaborate hoaxes that they would put on, and then they would video them and release them. They did essentially living installations, but the kids were brutalized over the course of their childhood. Anyway, the parents disappear, and now it's up to Baxter and Annie to find out if the parents are actually dead or worse. Well, maybe, I don't know, is there anything worse than dead? Maybe. Or if it's another hoax. And the parents are played by Marianne Plunkett as the mom and Christopher Walken as the dad. And I have to say, he's at his best as the brilliantly unhinged patriarch. And Nicole Kidman, again, stellar as the sister. And Bateman, the second film he's directed that I've seen that I have absolutely loved. The Family Fang, really enjoyed it. Okay. Doe is one of those heartwarming human comedies with a touch of drama that the English, the British, and the Irish, the Irish and the Scottish do really, really well. I mean, consider Waking Ned Devine or Local Hero, and it's not quite as good as those films, and it suffers a little from the cutes and some implausibility, but it has a certain topicality and fine showings from the cast. A widower, an Orthodox Jew named Nat, played by Jonathan Pryce, who is currently in HBO's Game of Thrones as High Sparrow, and of course was in Brazil and numerous other films. This guy wants to keep his kosher bakery going on London's East End, but he's losing customers who are moving out or dying, or the old ways are kind of withering, and he's kind of determined to hold on to his bakery despite the fact that a real estate developer wants to pick it up from the kind of silly elder woman who, is almost willing to sell it off, but she kind of has the hots for Nat. Anyway, he ends up hiring a African Muslim teenager to help him when his original assistant blows the coop. And the kid, Ayash, is, basically a drug dealer. He's dealing weed, and he ends up kind of finding an original way to distribute the weed that actually boosts Nat's customer numbers and also his bottom line. He starts making some serious profit when the challah has a little weed in it. Anyway, it's a very cute movie, and Price and a newcomer named Jerome Holder as the kid are really, really good in it. And it's a sweet film, and I think it'll be charming on video, so I give it a positive review. It also has Pauline Collins as the older woman who's got the lease on the place and may sell out to the bastards. I like Doe. Viva is an oddity, a film by an Irish director and an Irish screenwriter set in Havana. It concerns a young hairdresser for a Cuban drag troupe who wants to be a performer and gets his chance right as his father, a former boxer, is let out of jail where he was incarcerated for killing a guy. And needless to say, the macho daddy doesn't have much patience with the gay drag queen son. This could have been excruciating, but it's really, really quite poignant. With a very gritty peek into an exotic strata, the gay demimonde of modern Havana as a bonus. And the kid who plays Jesus, a young actor named Hector Medina, is wonderful, as is the older guy, Jorge Perugoria, who plays Angel, the father. The director's name is Patty Brethnock, and it's written by Mark O'Halloran, and a very positive reaction on my part. Let's just wrap this baby up with a video game movie, Ratchet and Clank, an animated money grab based on a video game series to capitalize on the popularity of that series, generic and frenetic, as two unlikely heroes struggle to stop an evil alien from destroying every planet in the galaxy. Imagine Sonic the Hedgehog in space with an annoying robot companion fighting generic, cartoonish CGI aliens. I assume kids will love it, even if it's not at the Disney, Pixar, or DreamWorks level. I really didn't. To its credit, though, it's lively and will be entertaining and occasionally amusing if you're 10. Ratchet and Clank went Clank for me. What do you got, buddy? What are you watching? What are you doing?
Nothing.
Zero?
Zilch.
Yeah. Television? No TV striking your fancy?
No, not particularly. Nah. Really dull around these parts. Yeah.
Well, you got to get out there and beat the bulrushes. I'm sure some interesting things are coming up on TV, including Penny Dreadful, which starts this weekend on Showtime.
I already saw the first episode of that. It's a little better.
You did?
A little better this year than it was last year.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. And a few other things are also coming down the pike, like Wayward Pines Series 2. I really like that. I like that.
Oh,
it left me hanging.
It was terrible.
Oh, come on.
It was ghastly.
It's a guilty pleasure. I can't tell you. I actually watched.
No, anytime something's bad and you like it, you call it a guilty pleasure. It isn't even a guilty pleasure. This thing, you should just feel guilty about watching.
Well, I enjoyed it. I mean, I feel guilty about watching The Catch, the Shonda Rhimes thing, which I tuned into because it's got Mireille Enos from The Killing as its lead actress.
I've never seen one episode of any Shonda Rhimes show, and I'm proud to say that.
And I actually envy you because I wish I could say that. I haven't seen anything but The Catch, and there's Peter Krause, and there's Mireille Enos, and I'm thinking, why am I liking this?
And the bigger question is, why are they doing it?
Well, you know why. It's the Michael Caine theory. You keep working, and then you do good stuff occasionally.
It's not the Michael Caine theory. It's that my career is almost over, and I got to take anything that comes along.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
John Sim is in this thing, too, lately. And, I'm thinking, where are they getting these terrific actors? But money talks, baby.
Mm-hmm. No,
I guess that's it?
That seems to be about it, unless you have even more. I hope that's not true.
How much can one take in 1 week?
Yes, exactly. Tell them where they can find you.
You can check me out on Twitter at Culture Blaster. You can go to Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page on Facebook and like it, and listen to Alex and I spar and read articles and such, and we'll catch you hopefully in a week.
Thank you very much, Michael. And as usual, there's more GABNet coming right up.